Hi, you guys. Thanks for being patient. We've had a lot of technical challenges lately in the Galactic Lost Arts Radio Center in Nashville and finally got back online for live streaming. Appreciate your waiting for us and hope you're having a good weekend when this is broadcasting now. And what I had, I had several things in mind to share with you. This first part here is the special new YouTube version safe stream show that we have when we can every Saturday, except we had to wait till Sunday this time because of the internet. And the point of this show is to get the full message to you that we wanted to say on the regular shows that got us put in time out to correct our thinking on everything so that we'd be appropriately re-educated. And I think we have been. We're really good now, and we don't do anything offensive for anybody. We never talk about anything controversial, and everything we say is just to make everybody happy and satisfied that everyone's in agreement. It's kind of a, what you might call like a kumbaya approach, and it's working great so far. We tested it on our last show, and we're doing it again. So this time, what I'd wanted to share with you was there was a special meeting online of Organic Consumers Association. I think I can say that and nobody's offended, right? I can't tell you what kind of a meeting it was because that's kind of offensive, but it was a meeting where they had all these great speakers from around the world, different parts of the planet, doing really inspiring things. I can't tell you what they were about because that could possibly be offensive, but it was a really exciting webinar, and it's still available for the next apparently 2 months. I just talked to one of the participants this morning and one of the doctors that was on it, and he said, yeah, they'll leave it up for 2 months. I think it's not really that offensive for me to tell you the URL where you can go and see I'll call it a webinar for any time from now for the next 2 months. And the price that you have to pay to watch it is really good. It's free, zero, completely free. That's Truth. The address that you go to on you type into the address bar Truth, TRUTH.organicconsumers.org, and you can scroll down to the free recording of the live stream. Now, when they did the actual initial live stream, it was attacked for some strange reason. Maybe they were a little bit offensive to the authorities, and it was shut down, but they were able to do some of it live and the rest of it recorded, so you can still see it there. And if people are wondering, I guess the conservative people or the right-wing type people would be saying, Richard, what are you doing with Organic Consumers? They're a very liberal-oriented organization. And I have had some divergence of opinion on some things with them about some globally important issues like climate change and the Green New Deal and things like that. However, on the basic idea of the organic campaign to make the food healthy and not poisoned and not poison the soils on the farms and things, that I've been in agreement with them since before they existed. As far as I know, I was actually in touch with the work of J.I. Rodale and Robert Rodale and Organic Gardening Magazine. I worked for several years with Alan Chadwick, who came to the university where I was a student in the mid-1960s, and the university he didn't have a PhD or anything, but the university allowed him to be there. They figured, well, this guy doesn't know anything because he's not even a doctor. However, and he was a direct student of Rudolf Steiner in Austria, a really interesting, inspiring guy. There's not a lot of information on him now. There's much more on Steiner. But he came to the university and they had a hillside that was full of rocks and poison oak and completely undeveloped. And they said, well, we'll give him a shovel and let him do what he wants with the hillside. He can't do too much damage. And he's well known around the world, so maybe it'll get us some prestige as a result. And he took the opportunity, and there was an old shack on that property that we called a chalet, where he would come and give lectures. There was no electricity at night, so it would just be firelight and candles and things. And some of the students that had discovered him say, wow, this is really different than our classes where the teachers are just repeating what they had to memorize as students, and they don't really have any deep wisdom in most cases that would help the long-term fate of humanity. But Alan Chadwick really did. And it was amazing listening to him in those days in the mid-1960s when I was a university student there. And he would, well, the way he presented things, I mean, it wasn't rustic. It was like he was a professional Shakespearean actor. He had been one, and he looked like he was playing a Shakespearean role whenever he talked to the class like that. Well, it wasn't an official class, just a gathering of students that have been lucky enough to find him. And he gave us context in history back through hundreds and thousands of years, and how humanity had developed in a way that the conventional history teachers didn't tell us. And then we'd come back in the morning and he would tell us what to do on the hillside with the poison oak, and we were clearing that, putting in flowers and vegetables, and it was transformed into some kind of a beautiful otherworldly environment, which he was guiding the construction of that on levels that we really didn't understand at the time. And it was just, you know, we had visitors from all over the world coming there and taking a little bit of time on the side to maybe look at the university. But the main thing they were interested in was that garden. It was comparable to what was done in Findhorn, and in some ways more advanced than that. Anyway, that was the environment that I had been involved in organic gardening and agriculture before that, but this was really what focused it for me and brought it into context of history and what was happening with humanity. So I was really involved in organic things back then, investigating, you know, talking about the issues of climate change and things like this, where there's some real divergence of opinion that I have got on that, and I can't really tell you about it because it's too evil and I don't want to get thrown off our channel again. But I was looking at atmospheric gas ratios and ice age cycles in nature and things like that about the same time, from about 1976 or so, a little bit later actually. Climate change and soil minerals and the connection between mineralization of the soil and weather patterns, which remains very important today, and it's almost unknown. More organic farmers need to know about rock dust, and organic gardeners too. It's really important because we're in the end part of an interglacial cycle right now, and the mineral content is low, and a lot of things happen as a result of that. It certainly has an effect on the weather for sure. And in the mid-70s, I also met a man named Charles Walters, who ran a newspaper that's still active today called Acres USA. In fact, we've had the current editor of that on the show. You can find that in the free archives that are still available at lostartsradio.com and the major platforms. Now, I worked for several years on an organic farm, helping to run that operation. And so I've got a long background in organic agriculture and health things connected to it and a lot of stuff like that. And so on Wednesday, the 28th of April, a few days ago, Organic Consumers Association held a meeting, and I can't actually tell you what it was on this show because this is a safe stream where it's just to keep everybody happy and totally worship the terms of service and community guidelines so that we never even come close to breaking those again. But I can tell you it was really important. I just can't tell you the subject or the title of the meeting. And it was about, well, I actually can't tell you the subject either, but government agencies and media and health authorities who, well, well, I can't actually tell you about that either, so we'll skip over that part. But a lot of the testing from the current terrible pandemic that's been ravaging the world, and the death certificates, and finally humanity being saved as it has been before by a vaccine that is now saving billions of people all over the world, like it saved billions of people before. I think it's acceptable to say that. But these things actually, if you wanted to know the truth about them, I can't tell you that either, so we'll skip over that. But I'm really grateful to get this vital information to you in a form that everybody can easily grasp and put into use. And we're just being really careful now to make sure that the show is acceptable, non-offensive, and within all possible guidelines that could ever be come up with. And anybody that was hoping to get the actual information on this issue, it's really not very, acceptable on your part to even want to know about that. So in order to stay away from the real information and never get it and upset your mind with things that are not approved, make sure that you don't look at the link below the video, because that's where only the bad people go. And we try to monitor that and keep it away from anybody with any character who would never want to know the rest of the story. Again, it's the honor system, as we've been using since the beginning, that we trust you not to look at that link, because you don't really need to know what's actually happening. As long as you know and make sure to memorize the official story about everything, then you should get the approval of the power structure. And after all, that's the main value in life that we all want. So again, warnings about the link below this video. It's only there so you'll know what not to look at. And I hope that you've kept calm and happy and secure and safe feeling during the whole of this very short broadcast. We have to go and deal with the normal version of the show. Now that's why this has to be short. And to make sure that everybody is warned not to listen to it, we'll be giving that warning in the show too. So let's see, what else can I go over that's really educational? I think that's the main part of it. Main thing is to stay safe, listen to authorities no matter what they say, and try to obey and don't judge things. And in fact, we saw a USA Today article that was in the paper a few days ago, and it was a really good warning. What was it saying? It was following. It was something about following things on the internet and really looking into these stories. Oh, browsing the internet, that's what they called it. That could lead you down conspiracy theory rat holes and rabbit holes. I'm not sure if rat holes are different than rabbit holes, but it was one of those two, possibly both. And that could be really disastrous in the effect. So you don't want to browse the internet. You don't want to. Also, we're trying to learn from these authorities about how to be a good citizen and an upright, safe person. And one of our main guides in society now in this difficult time is the New York Times. And they were saying, make sure that you don't use critical thinking, because that is a real trap. That can get you into exposure to ideas that you're never supposed to come across. So try to understand these things. And the main thing is stay safe, especially from unacceptable ideas, and beware of the link that we have below, and make sure you never go there. I think that's about it. So have a safe weekend. I hope that you're keeping other people safe. Anything that you hear that you have questions about, check with the authorities, and they'll tell you if it's safe or not. And remember that as long as you obey, everything should stay good. And if more people obey and we also get herd immunity, then we'll probably have world peace too. And we just want you to be safe. So thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I will not see you on the regular version of the show now that you've learned what to be aware of. And we'll see you next time. Take care.